Hey everyone, and thanks for joining me. Today, I'm just going to give you my 2 cents on the new Scream Legacy trailer. Although it's not a brand new trailer, it's been out a couple of days now. But I just wanted to, as I said, give my 2 cents, talk about a couple of things that I think are cool and maybe not so cool, and just my general thoughts because there's a lot floating around the Scream rumor mill. There's a few opinions I've seen out there. One in particular is around the marketing of this movie because we're like a few weeks out of it now, and aside from the initial trailer, which dropped like a month or so ago, we've had not really anything. Which is quite weird because Scream has always been quite a profitable franchise, especially the latest ones. I did notice, I think this was like right before Christmas. I sent a message to my friend and I rebought it up. This is 21st of December. I was just like, man, Scream is like got some weird marketing, and they seem to be in December like a little splurge of like Scream promo, which was probably tied around that first trailer. And I was just like, what? Why are these sort of like promos and tie-ins just so bizarre and weird for Scream? I think because over here, I'm not sure if it was in the States as well, there was a bloody Ghostface Reese's Pieces trailer, and Jeep Cherokee as well, like the Jeeps, I think. Um, and also a rapper did a concert and there was a tie-in, which is just so bizarre. I know, I can't remember. I know Scream did the Creed tie-in song, but that was just, a movie track, which they used to always do back then, and it was inserted in the film. But yeah, some really odd choices for some movie tie-ins there for Scream, but it is what it is. But yeah, so let's jump into this Legacy trailer. I'm not going to sit here and watch it and go for it because it's like 30 seconds long. But so I'm just going to like skip through bits and jump back through bits. And the funny thing I noticed is that the first shot here, the phone ringing, that's clearly that's the opening shot from Scream. That's Casey Becker's phone, I believe. Is it? I don't know at this point. Because then Nev Campbell, Sydney picks up this phone, which is a completely different phone. Every phone call, and then it cuts back to Casey Becker, and she's got the is it Casey Becker's phone? I don't know. I could be talking really shit because she's got the cordless phone here. But this is later on in the film when she's like walking about talking to Ghostface, and he drops the "I want to know who I'm looking at" line. But yeah, you'll see we jump through. You got Sarah Michelle Gellar, CC from Scream 2, Cotton Weary in Scream 3, David Arquette Scream 1, and Gal in the last one, I believe. And then it's like led to this by going back to the original killers, which is Billy Loomis and Stu Macker, which is interesting because obviously we've already had the Billy Loomis returns in some form, which is it Sam Carpenter, Melissa Barrera's character. Like it was her dad and he was in her mind and whatnot, but Stu is the interesting one because that's where all the rumors and things like that are stirring around, and they're not so much rumors anymore, because Matthew Lillard said that he's kind of back in some form. But then again, I believe, like Jamie Kennedy and Drew Barrymore were back in the Scream 2022, Scream 2022, but in just like background voice things and that. Like Drew Barrymore was the voice on the school announcer, and I think Jamie Kennedy did a voice in the background of the party. So, but interesting that it's led to this with him. In terms of that, I'm like, I'm going to wait until the next scene because I want to address this. I don't know if this is like a fake out of some sorts, but I don't see how it is. This is Sydney's husband, Mark Evans, which, I'm sure most fans are a little bit not annoyed about, but like just a bit like, oh, I see what you did there. It was a bit of a bait and switch, because Sydney apparently all these years had like married is it Mark Kincaid, the police officer McDreamy from Scream 3. And I think there was in that line, wasn't there, how's Mark and the kids in Scream 22 or the other one? And like for all this time, it was like, oh, she did marry Mark and whatnot. But obviously, it's a different Mark. So I think that was just down to like casting and whatnot. So there might be reason for it. There might be something for it. But yeah, we'll see how it goes and what it brings. But yeah, it was a bit of a bait and switch. But yeah, I'm not a fan of like kill reveals in trailers and stuff like that. So, you know, if this is a fake out, but I can't see it being a fake out because he's clearly getting stabbed there, whether he survives or not. We will see. But finally, talking about Stu, you've got the psychiatric hospital and some pictures on the wall here, which is clearly someone obsessed with someone. One of the rumors is, yeah, that's not necessarily a rumor, but one of the things floating around is that Stu's back. Did Stu survive? Because that's always been a rumor for a long time that Stu survived Scream 3 with the TV on his head, which was also the basis for Kevin Williamson, who's come back to direct this and write this. His original Scream 3 storyline was Stu survived and is in jail or the loony bin, and he basically, there's a load of copycat killers out there doing his bidding, which Kevin Williamson turned into the basis for his TV show The Following, which had a well-known killer or a serial killer who was locked up, and there was a load of copycat killers doing like his work. And yeah, that I believe that got canned or cancelled due to like Columbine, and they wanted to move away from like the high school killery element of Scream 3. Don't hold me to that. That's just what I believe is. There could be some truth to that. But again, having Stu back, if this is him back and he is in this psychiatric hospital, then that kind of makes sense considering Kevin Williamson's back. But this could be a little bit of a fake out too, because any one of Sidney's old friends or family members or any from the previous movies could be in here. And this again could not be the psychiatric hospital. This could be a regular hospital, and yeah, this could be her in the hospital after Mark survived that stabbing we just witnessed. This is like just reeks of Halloween, the original. So I'm down for that. Sidney's daughter Tatum, but clearly it's some kind of like personal revenge, which, you know, makes sense with whatever the element of Stu being back in it is. If you got the Randy Meeks niece and nephew here are back. Quickly, yeah, this is cool. I like they've done this. They've brought back the original font / title card from Scream, which again ties into there is gonna be some sort of connection to the first movie aside from obviously Sidney Prescott. But you know, this is the legacy trailer. This is the legacy font. It's got to be a stronger connection to the first movie. So let's try and freeze up some of these frames. Obviously, he's after her. Sidney's in the wall then. And it cuts to the new one. That's probably too... I wonder what level of involvement the Meeks twins are going to have in this, because I know with the issues around the movie's previous structure before, you know, the new cast were like the main character was let go, and you know, obviously there was a whole story revolving around these guys, but now it's been shifted to more legacy characters with these in it. So it'd be interesting to see what part they play and how many more stabbings can this guy take. Was it Chad? Yeah, Chad Meeks Martin. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see that. got the Halloween 2018 House on Fire vibes. Someone getting kicked. Looks like a police officer. And this is going to be fun. I think I tweeted this when the first trailer came out. It's like, that is fucking... I'll go to the grave. That is definitely Matthew Lillard, Stu Macher's voice there. Yeah, so... February 27th, yeah. Again, there's not been that much other than that odd promotion that I mentioned before, but hopefully we can see a little bit more now. Because, you know, I don't know, say it at a surface level, but from an overview of a Scream fan, I've been a long-time Scream fan since 1997, the end of 1997 when it came out on VHS in the UK. I went to my friend's house. I was 12 years old. We used to go around there and play like GoldenEye on Nintendo 64 and whatnot. And we was just like, oh, shall we watch a film? And it was in his brother's room, and his brother he was like, oh, he'd just got on Scream, so we watched it. And yeah, that was like the start of my like love for Scream. So, you know, it's been like 29 years at this point, and sort of like, you know, I did enjoy Scream 2022, and I enjoyed the last movie, Scream 6, at the cinema. I did rewatch it, and I've got to admit, you know, Scream 2022 was a little bit of a struggle to watch on some rewatches, but that's only because your brain is like the endorphin rush of a new Scream movie, and then like it's wearing off, and you just start getting a little bit picky. You know, we're all human. We can't help it sometimes, but you know, the last movie, I really struggled to watch it a second time. Not necessarily a bad movie, but it's just like, you know, they did all like the almost like the killer throne, or like the Scream Legacy throne at the end in that theater with all the stuff, and it was still just like, what am I watching? Is this? It just doesn't feel like Scream. You know, all the ghost faces, all the legacy characters and legacy props that were in that, to me it just didn't feel like Scream. You know, and it might just be one of those things where it's like Nev Campbell is Scream. Without Nev Campbell, it's not Scream. You know, I hate to say that, but that could just be the case. And you know, just from the trailers and looking at this, it's like, could this be the real Scream 5 that we've been waiting for? Like, is this the, you know, in 5-10 years down the line, where, say, if this is the last one, is the consensus of the order and the real movie timeline going to be Scream 1 to 3? Yeah, well, I wouldn't mind missing 3 because it does suck. But is it going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4 and this one? You know, is there enough stuff in 5 and 6 that people would just write off? And with that as well, you know, the only issue I see with that mindset is obviously Dewey. But we have yet to see how Dewey is spoke about, addressed in this movie and whatnot. So, yeah, if the movie makes a fuck ton of money, I doubt it would be the last one. But, yeah, but those are my 2 cents on this trailer. I need to... Is that the opening shot of Scream? Let's have a look. I'm going to pull it up on here, because that could be just any random shot. For some reason, sorry to do this while we're on Scream. Oh, I can't spell. Opening scene. I don't want to have adverts on here. So let's bring it over here. Come on. Move advert. Skip. Oh yeah, it's the opening shot of Screen. So I was correct. Yeah. But yeah, it's funny that they have that and then it flashes to Sydney. But this is like, for a Scream fan, this is like again, Although I doubt it myself, every Scream fan with that sound of the ringing phone and that visual, it's just like, it's Scream, it's the original, it's the opening shot, it's burned into our brains, so yeah. But yeah, I'm just interested to see where the movie goes and what it brings. Hopefully something different, something that feels more Scream. Yeah. Yeah, I just want it to be interesting at the end of the day. And that's what I say about all the films that I like. Like with Jurassic Parks and whatnot, everyone goes into all these deep debates about canon and timelines and things like that. And with me, I'm just like, I just want it to be good. I just want to have a good time. I want to enjoy it. I don't want to like have that kind of forced sense of like, I'm really enjoying this. Like with the other one, like the last one, as I said, I enjoyed it, but I think again, just that nostalgia overtook an element of my brain, and I think there was elements of when I was watching it in the cinema, I was like, some of this is a little bit ridiculous. But yeah, I just hope it's a good movie. That's all we can hope for, Movies always, slip up on little details, things fall through the cracks in terms of like canon and whatnot. It doesn't matter. Just as long as it's a good movie, things like that can be sort of looked over. So yeah, but yeah, that was my 2 cents. Thanks for watching, and yeah, hopefully we get a good movie.